There you go. Welcome back, everyone. (114) courtroom number 2. And we just got some brand new evidence. Well, I understand you are the judicial assistant to the defense, but why this sudden ingress into my courtroom? Judicial assistant, and a woman no less. The rules state that females are not permitted into this court of law other than to testify. Yes, I fully understand. I ask only for 5 minutes of time. I have some vital evidence I must hand over to the defense. You're too late, little girl. This trial's already been concluded. 5 minutes. I will not allow a moment more. But, Your Excellency, I am most grateful. Who exactly are you? I'm sorry, there's no time. Please, simply accept this for now. What is it? A report about something. Written in English? It's Giselle Brett's research. The English ones? After the trial resumed earlier, I hurried back to the university. I went to Dr. Wilson's laboratory in the medical facility and borrowed this paper. Ah, yes, that's right. Miss Brett was studying under the professor, wasn't she? So, does this research, whatever it is, have something to do with the case? I'm afraid I don't know. I haven't been able to listen to the proceedings of the trial myself. Oh, no, of course not. Special characteristics occur and its effect on human subjects. Interesting. Occur? What's that? Never heard that word before. Time's up. The prosecution demands the immediate removal of this female trespasser from the court. There's too little time for me to read it in detail. I've summarized what I could on a note just inside the cover. If you think it could be valuable, please cast your eye over it. This is wonderful, thank you. Giselle's report has been entered in the record. Goodbye then. Good luck. Let's take a look. We actually have quite a lot of stuff now. A poison made from the bark of certain trees in the jungles of South America. Hunters of the region have used it since ancient times to incapacitate their prey. Instant paralysis of the entire body, subsequent death even in minute doses. The above-mentioned effects occur when the poison enters the body through a wound, such as that inflicted by blowdart. Due to its ability to render the human body paralytic, it's believed that the toxin could have application as an anesthetic. However, a solution for the respiratory arrest caused as a result of the full-body process must be found first, or the patients would die of suffocation. And that's why it's not labeled as poison. Interesting. We have had long enough, Council. We cannot detain our English guest any longer. I ask the prosecution and defense now one last time. Does either side have any further evidence to present to the court? I presume not, but... The prosecution has made its case convincingly enough already. Nothing more to add, Your Excellency. Right, it's okay. We're out of options here. This really is our very last chance. No. Your Excellency, the defense does have new evidence. He does not look amused. That look. The unyielding stare of a true Japanese warrior. Well, Miss Brett? Yes, Your Excellency. If you don't mind, perhaps you could grace us with your presence a little longer. It's a delightful invitation, but I'm afraid it's not so very long until tea time. I'll have to politely decline. Forgive me, Miss Brett. It seems I wasn't clear. I realize it was phrased as a question. However, I must ask you to treat that as an order. I've said it many times before, but the Japanese language makes no sense. My apologies, dear lady. So, Council. What is this new evidence that demands the court's attention? Well, we don't have anything else, so it has to be this.
Yes!
Ms. Giselle Brett, we understand you were studying under Dr. Wilson at Yuma University, doing research. Research, by sheer coincidence perhaps, into a deadly poison. What? Poison? Where are you going with this, Council? A toxin known as Curar, Your Excellency. And the slightest amount of this deadly poison entering the body leads to instant death.
Objection!
What? What complete and utter nonsense! Curar, you say? I've never even heard of it. You wouldn't have done. What do you mean? I mean that you wouldn't have heard of Curar before, for one very simple reason. It doesn't exist in our country. It doesn't exist. Correct. Which means, no matter what tests the police can do for toxins, they'd never identify Curar. Why? Because there is no test available here that can identify the presence of this highly deadly poison. What? So shocked. Order, order, order! Council, does this deadly poison truly exist? According to this report, authored by the visiting research student from England, Curar has long been used by the tribespeople of South America as a poison to allay their arrows. Things that's reasonably well known among European doctors and scientists. Allay their arrows? The report states that it is produced from the extract of a tree that grows deep in the Amazonian jungle. It was first brought back to Europe at the turn of the century by explorers. They claim that animals shot by arrows laced with Curar suffer instant death. Doesn't that about sum it up, Miss Brett?
Objection!
The trumpery! These aspersions are utter trumpery! To start with, if the victim had been administered some of this so-called deadly poison, he would have been squirming and writhing in pain, and the other dames would have surely noticed. That's true. What do you say to that, Inspector? Well, we have evidence against that in the notes. Obviously, I would have noticed a disturbance like that. I don't remember anything like that either. I didn't notice the professor being in any kind of pain. According to this, however, it's the other way around. And what do you mean, the other way around? The very fact that the victim didn't show any visible signs of distress is evidence that Curar was used. Explain yourself, Counsel. The moment this toxin enters a person's system, it causes instant paralysis. In other words, afflicted victims lose all strength and are completely unable to move. Even if they were in total agony, there would be no visible signs of pain at all. How terrible! Obviously, if a man lost all strength in his muscle, he'd collapse on the floor. With a chair under him for support, as Dr. Wilson did, the effects could go largely unnoticed. I don't follow, Kazuma. That's just paralysis. I thought the poison caused instant death. Come on, Renosake. You didn't read the notes, obviously. The whole explanation is extremely unpleasant. Poison causes immediate paralysis, as I said, leaving the victim unable to move. After a short time, the paralysis is so severe it causes the muscles that control respiration to fail. Respiration? In other words, the actual cause of death is suffocation. And all the while, the victim is conscious and aware, just unable to move. That's hideous! To the observer, it would look almost like the victim was slipping peacefully into an endless sleep, for the victim himself. His final moments would be a living hell. That is the true nature of this deadly Carrera poison. This time, silence. And you're suggesting that this bottle capsule actually contains this terrifying poison?
Objection!
This is all very convenient, isn't it? A hitherto unknown poison for which there is no means of testing. What a happy tale for the defense! If I may. All these facts. You think you're so clever? Well, you must be taught some merit. It is you who must be taught. Of course. Good lady. That is her research. So, this is how you Japanese behave, is it? What? You steal another's honest hard work and then announce the results as if you discovered them? Did we? No, I'm pretty sure we credited it as you. I'm pretty sure. I'm appalled. What a loathsome act. Well, Miss Brett, feelings mutual. Whatever do you mean? Capitalizing on the unfortunate circumstances of an innocent man to frame him for a heinous crime. That really is a loathsome act. Wouldn't you agree?
Objection!
Enough of this! I, for one, refuse to accept it. The idea of some poison that doesn't even exist in the great empire of Japan is breaking the rules. What's so funny? Excuse me. Your Excellency. Yes, Miss Brett? May I borrow that bottle for a moment, please? Well, yes, I don't see why not? Because it could have just been in the glass, not necessarily the bottle. Don't get too big for your boots, you insignificant little island boys. Sorry. An Englishman such as myself is full of affairs of comedy. The little police games and these foolish late court romantics. Laughable, really. But I'm getting bored of it all now. Time for the games to end. Cheers. Slip, slip, slip. Wait, what are you doing? I mean, it won't be the bottle itself, because he brought the bottle out. So it could have easily been the glass. That's the problem here. No sparkle left at all. How appropriate for this shabby affair. Everyone is so shocked. I saw this one coming, though. Goodness. Whatever's the matter? You all look quite stunned. So, no curry. The bottle was clean. Is that what you're saying? You look quite incredulous, little boy. But of course. That's the simple truth. Thank you for presenting the findings of my research so concisely here in this grand venue. Much kind. Thank you, waiter. Now then, Your Excellency. Yes, Miss Brett? I should like to be excused now, please. I think I've given more than enough of my time for the furtherance of friendship between our countries. Yes, dearly. We are most gratified with all the assistance you have given. This doesn't make sense. Had to have been poisoned in that bottle. Not the bottle, the glass. So how did she swallow a whole glass and live to tell the tale? I don't understand it. Well, I suppose if nothing else, this little Far Eastern charade. will make for interesting conversation at the next party I attend in London. There has to have been poison in that bottle. Doesn't there? But there can't have been. Because otherwise she would have been killed over dead. Come on, Ranasake. We have all the clues now. Bottle of water. Contains no poison. As I thought, there is no poison in that bottle. What? Why, Ranasake? Isn't it obvious? If there's poison in there, she'd be dead by now. Sometimes your unadulterated naivety really astounds me. Sometimes it's in need of good staining, till it's as dark as your uniform in the ways of the world. Is that what this color is supposed to represent? That was a guileless ending to a promising line of inquiry, for which you will be penned. See, I would have thought it would have been in the glass. I guess they didn't go through the whole book. Maybe there is a cure? Because that's kind of mean and misleading. Because if I look at the note here, oh wait, through a wound. It says through a wound, not consumption. I missed that previously. Ooh, that could be the key, actually. It does. But because there was no wound, it didn't touch her blood. It is ineffective. The culprit did put poison in Dr. Wilson's carbonated water. The defense refuses to change its position. Serious?
Objection!
Fool, are you blind? There's no possible way that bottle could contain poison. I mean, we just saw. Is Brett drinking the water from it? That's right. Which rather complicates your argument, I think. I believe that complication can be explained. How exactly? I need to think through all the things that don't quite add up here, one by one. Very well, if the defense surely intends to assert this claim, I must ask you to support the assertion with evidence. Ooh, the bullet could have been laced. Although that feels excessive. I mean, I think the big one is the report, just because it does indeed say that it's not triggered through consumption, but through touching the wound.
Yes!
The answer to this riddle is right here in Miss Brett's own research.
Objection!
It's not a valid explanation. Let me finish. No. After all, we don't speak English. That report is utter gibberish. This impudent young scoundrel is trying to ridicule the court, Your Excellency. I'm not trying to ridicule anyone, honest. I'm just reading the son's notes. I concur. This report is too extensive to be considered in its entirety by the court. You'll direct us to the pertinent section, Council. The special characteristics. Right? Let me examine it again real quick. Make sure I have the right one here. Yeah, special characteristics, route of entry. We've been hearing a lot about this Carrera poison. And I've both been curious about something. Oh, Council? Well, it sounds as though indigenous hunters have been using this poison for years and years to lace the heads of the heirs that they shoot at whatever prey they're hunting. So we've been led to believe, yes. And the point of hunting is to catch prey to eat. Get to the point, please. That's actually a really good point. But if they were to use these laced arrows, doesn't that mean there'd be traces of poison left in the prey the hunters were going to eat? Yes, good point. So surely the hunters wouldn't want to eat their prey, would they? Then they'd be eating poison. Good gracious, Council. No, that would be madness. I actually found the answer to that conundrum in this research paper here. Under special characteristics, it says this. The poison starts to work after entering the body through a wound. Through a wound, you say? I see, that makes sense. Yes, the mention of that particular detail seemed a little strange to me then. But it all makes sense when you interpret what's written like this. When Carrera enters the body through an open wound, it has terrifying poisonous effects. However, when it enters the body via the mouth, it has no poisonous effects whatsoever. What? Miss Brett? You authored this research. You knew Carrera's special characteristics, and you knew that you could make a spectacle of drinking that water without any danger to yourself. You meddling little... Bird? Hi, Bird! Well, Radness, okay. Turns out, you're an even better lawyer than I thought you'd be. Really? Me? Lawyer?
Objection!
Oh, this poison talk is fascinating, I'm sure. I feel like we have possibly... So, the ill-bred little puppy has a new toy to play with. Some facts he read in a book. I'm afraid knowledge doesn't suit you, little boy. It makes you look silly. What are you trying to say? Your schoolboyish logic has a fatal flaw. Schoolboyish? Flaw? As even your brain has managed to do, Carrera is safe to ingest. Seems likely that its effects are neutralized by the nature of the gastric gas. Yes, well, of course. Gastric or suckers? What are they? Ustemic. So if this lethal poison was completely harmless when drowned, Professor wouldn't have died when he swallowed it, would he? That's right! Good gracious! That's basic science. Science that even schoolboy should be able to understand now. Order! Order in court! Order! The logic holds. The lady and the professor drank the same poison, they would be affected in the same way. I'm trying to suggest... Yes, this Carrera poison is completely irrelevant to the case on trial. That's right. Surely even a little cockroach like you could understand something as simple as that. Black and white? What is this welling up inside me? I've never felt like this before. A sort of conviction to break down all the discrepancies. It's so intense, almost rage-like. More than anything else, animalistic stuff. To take down my prey. Wow, that's one way to put it.
Objection!
Yeah, objection! The famous line. I don't think so, Miss Giselle Brett. Oh, how dare you use that tone with me? You know very well that there is no fatal flaw. Know exactly why, even though both you and the victim stole the same poison. You are alive, Dr. Wilson is dead. Counsel, I'm sure I don't need to remind you, you must provide compelling evidence. As we now know that the poison is completely harmless when ingested, why would Dr. Wilson alone have been killed by the Courier? So there's the bullet wound. It could have, even if the bullet wound didn't directly kill him, it would have potentially spread the poison which was then in his digestive system. I wish we knew if, like, the glass had maybe been broken. That's really the only thing I can think of, would be one of these. Did we ever use the report? I actually don't know if we did. I'm going to, just in case, save. Just in case I get this wrong. I feel like it could be this one. No, that doesn't look good. Slipshod man does not inspire confidence. Listen, Randall-Seki, there's no need to overthink this. I know that Curry's toxic effects only come into play when the poison enters the body via the wound. Right, so that can only mean that when Dr. Wilson drank his glass of water, he must have had a wound somewhere that let the poison in. Oh, duh! Wound in his mouth. That makes a lot more sense. Okay, they were actually really nice and didn't remove a point. Right. I kind of forgot about that, actually.
Take that!
As Miss Brett so readily pointed out, she drank the same water as the professor. However, there's a fundamental and fatal difference between the two diners. A fatal difference. The toxic effects of prayer are only felt when the poison enters the body through an open wound. So for a healthy person with no injuries, drinking it is completely harmless. But what if there was a wound inside the mouth of the person drinking the poisoned water? Inside? Yes, like the wound you might have if you had just been to the dentist and had a tooth extracted, for example. Oh. Miss Brett, you've acknowledged many times in your testimony already that you were well aware of Dr. Wilson's dental appointment that day. So that's it. You used that knowledge to orchestrate this. Is she laughing? I don't like to repeat myself, but honestly, I can't resist. These childish courtroom games and your half-baked arguments are all so proud. What do you mean? Don't worry, little schoolboy. You'll find out soon enough. You see, when you leave vital evidence lying around, you never know what might happen to it. I mean, it could just slip. Oh dear, how careless of me. I'm afraid some crucial evidence may have just been tragically destroyed. Wow. smashed the bottle. Officer, what are you waiting for? Collect up as much of the water from that broken bottle as possible at once. You're wasting your time. This delightful cup under my feet here was a gift from the British Empire. I assure you, it will soak up the water beautifully. You have neither the technology nor the presence of mind to recover it. Could you? You won't get away with this. You can thump the bench and shout as much as you like, little bone. I'm afraid we'll never know now, will we? If there really was poison in the bottle, or not. And let us not forget, we still have some very compelling evidence left intact. Isn't that right, counsel for the prosecution? Oh, of course, of course! Are you referring to this photographic print, I presume, dear lady? That's right, and really, looking at the photograph, it's clear as day, isn't it? Poor professor was sitting with his back to me. So of course the only person who could have shot him in the front is the little school.
Objection!
No, you killed the victim that day, using correct. And then in order to frame Ranosuke Naruhodo for the crime. You waited until he picked up the pistol you'd arranged for him to find on the floor, where you shot the professor's dead body in the chest from your own hidden gun. And in the confusion that followed, all you had to do was turn the dead professor in his chair around. See? You had every opportunity to commit this crime. Oh, what a wonderful imagination you have, young man. A hidden gun, you say? I shot the professor's dead body. I'm terribly sorry, but you don't have a shred of evidence. Exactly. As you have nothing to support your wild claims, the prosecution's stance remains unchanged. The victim, Dr. John H. Wilson, was killed by a gunshot to the chest. Delivered in cold blood by the accused, Ranosuke Naruhodo. This is unbelievable. It must be happening. I've heard. Now, is she really gonna get away with it? The way she destroyed that evidence was obscene. Ranosuke. Yes? We've come this far, but now there's only one who can finish it. What? What do you mean? We lost a vital piece of evidence, it's true. But there are any clues left for us to use now. They must be in your head. In my head. You told me before that your powers of observation were the one thing you could really depend on. Yes, that's true, but I think Mary should notice that this woman was a foreigner with this swan on her head. What? And they're pointing at the hat. Think back again now. Try to remember every last detail about the scene. Everything you saw, everything you felt, every color, every smell. What I saw, what I felt. Every color. Why is it zooming in towards the stake? Ah, it's not visible because it's black and white. Is Cosmo right? I want a vibrant memory of the same scene in my head. There be another clue to expose the identity of Dr. Wilson's killer? Man, they really put it front and center for you. Actually, Cosmo, I think I might have something. Thinking back over everything I saw, I think I might have uncovered another clue. You always have something up your sleeve, don't you, Ranosuke? Come on then, let's wipe the smug smile off that Englishwoman's face with some evidence. I can't wait. It's been niggling me for a while, but something feels amiss in my memories that day. Whatever it is, could be the key to arriving at the truth about all of this. Again, they just give it to us right there, front and center. Right there.
Take that!
Inspector Hasunaga, answer me this. Yes? What is it? He's some miles away. We're thinking about that bottle being smashed. As you've said a number of times now, you strive for perfection in your investigations, don't you? Absolutely. I wonder, therefore, if perhaps you took anything else from the scene of the crime? Like, for instance, the plate of steak that you took to the victim's table that day?
Objection!
Oh, wait a minute. Where are you going with this? Where are you going with this, little boy? It's just a memory that's been troubling me. What memory? I saw the scene shown in this photographic print with my own eyes. I saw that on the wooden base of the plate that the steak was served on was a spattering of blood. What? Oh, really? What of it? Obviously, that must have happened when you shot the professor. No, that can't be the case. Didn't exit. Take a good look at the photograph and the relative position of everything there. The plate of steak is almost directly behind the victim. I'm supposed to have shot Dr. Wilson in the chest from the front. There's no way that blood from the victim could have ended up directly behind him. I'm not so sure about that, but okay. Yes. For blood to have made it onto the plate implies the plate was between the victim and the shooter. Which means the shooter must have been staying opposite the professor, as you were. Giselle Brett. Beg your pardon?
Objection!
This is beyond ridiculous. Fabricated nonsense. I seriously expected to believe something that the accusers apparently just remembered seeing.
Hold it!
This could be the moment my entire career in the police force has been leading to. Inspector, you mean... Yes, I took the plate in the interest of preserving evidence from the scene of the crime. I took it, meat and all. I don't care if they call me a crime scene thief, because... What? I took the steak that you had been eating, Miss Brett. I took the steak that the sergeant had been eating. And I did it all in the name of justice. Then we can find out for sure whether or not there's a bloodstain on Miss Brett's plate. We must examine it now. Inspector? The court wishes to examine the plate from the victim's table immediately. Yes, sir! We now have a steak. Sorry for the delay. Here's what you ordered. The steak. Well, what about the blood? Is there blood on it? Of course there isn't. Okay, Inspector. The blood man. Show the court. Of course. Examine the plate at your leisure. No. No blood. No blood anywhere. But, no, that's... impossible! I know I saw it. I'm sure of it. Right there on the table behind the professor. There was blood on the side of the plate. Oh, what an unbecoming expression, little boy. See, this is why I always say you can't trust what the Japanese tell you. Couldn't agree more. In the case of this disgrace to an empire. I believe we may finally have reached a conclusion this trial. Let's hope so. Let's pretend the attempt at courtroom proceedings is painful to watch. But I do promise to do my best to forget all about it when it's over. Didn't he say he got the sergeant's plate as well? He could. He could just have the other plate. Does he know which plate's which? Sorry, looking stick with your specs, I'll do clearly. If the sorry-looking accused wishes to examine it again, be my guest. Okay, let's take a look. Then I thought I saw just a figment of my imagination. Stick. Examine. Ooh, wait. What if it's the side? What if the plate got flipped around? Yeah, because we'd be able to tell based off of the alignment of the symbol and the burn mark. The symbol on the side of the plate. It's the cat? The cow, obviously. Most likely because the restaurant's signature dish is beef steak. There's a lot of different restaurants have their own unique tableware. This is the symbol of La Carnal, isn't it? I'm looking out of place. And there's gotta be something. What? What in the world is that? Exactly. I think it's a Koban. A Koban coin. The one that went missing. I think it's a Koban coin. The hallmark is from the Hoyt era. No, I don't mean what is it. I mean, what's it doing there? Wait, did you say it was a Koban? Yes. And apart from the meat juices, it looks to be in good condition. I imagine it's very valuable. The first time today that there's been talk of a Koban. I heard pearls before swine, but I've never heard of Northern and Bulgarian. I don't think you ever will again. It's extraordinary then. This means he grabbed the wrong plate. I think that's what he meant. Or what this means. Certainly never expected to find a precious coin underneath this thick coat of meat. From the Hoyt era, and make it really quite valuable. Maybe in juices as well, look. What are you thinking of eating it? No. Next time I order steak in an expensive restaurant. I think for sure. My heart's gonna be racing as I lift up the meat and peer underneath for a prize. I think you might have the wrong end of the stick about this, Ranosaki. Okay, how do I make use of it? I know exactly where this is going. This is it now. I'm lost. Ranosaki. Not over yet. Not until the final gap. Never stop believing in yourself. Keep looking forward no matter what. Even myself. Really? Maybe I should at least examine the evidence for myself. As the evidence requested by the defense has not been shown to be problematic in any way, I presume any further examination of evidence in this trial will be unnecessary. Does the defense have any objection? Bloodstain was going to finish the trial for me. This plate of steak reveal any other clues at all? Yes, there is. This is the wrong plate, because he said he got 2 plates. Your Excellency, please wait. This plate of beef is hiding another clue. Another clue that will reveal the shocking truth. The only thing that's shocking here is your unhealthy fascination with beef steak. Your Excellency, I think I've made myself clear, haven't I? I will not be able to turn a blind eye to any more unnecessary procrastination in this trial. I'm sorry, Miss Brett, but we must ensure a thorough examination of the evidence. I'll not give a ruling until I'm completely satisfied that all reasonable doubt has been dispelled. I see. As a newly affirmed ally of my country, that's still your position, is it? Thank you, Your Excellency. Counsel for the defense, you will now clearly show the court to what you are alluding. Where is this new clue to be found? Right there. I think I mean... Well... Yes. And did not mean to actually do all this. I need to present, is what I need to do. So much text! Okay, but now that it's open,
Got it!
I think. Good gracious, that's... Open? What on earth? Oh yeah, open at that. Miss Brett, this is in fact the beefsteak that you ordered at the restaurant on the day in question, is it? Tell me, why is there no coin seemingly hidden underneath the meat?
Shut up!
What a ridiculous question! How should I know? I've never seen a thing before in my life. I don't know what this is, but I want no part of it.
Objection!
I fail to see how this is relevant. A coin under the meat could simply have been a careless mistake by the chef in a moment of distraction.
Objection!
Don't be absurd. I'm supposed to believe that this happened by accident in the kitchen. A rare Horkoban just happens to be hidden underneath that piece of steak. This turns out to be irrelevant to the case. I'll rip up my ticket to Great Britain right now. He's right. It can't be a coincidence. Your Excellency. Yes, Counsel. A rare Horkoban just happens to be hidden underneath that piece of steak. This turns out to be irrelevant to the case. I'll give up my lawyer job right now. Huh? You're not even an official lawyer yet.
Objection!
By all means, don't let us stop you. No one invited you anyway.
Shut up!
Perhaps, little boy, you should realize that it is you who is irrelevant. No, I'm the one on trial here. I mean, that'd be great. You're irrelevant? Okay, bye. The point is, it's essential that we ask the owner of this coin if he can explain what it's doing under that steak. The owner? Yes, it's obvious. There's only one person it can belong to. The owner of the Koban found underneath the beef steak is... you! It even tells us, hunting for a lost coin.
Take that!
Obviously, it can only be the antiques dealer and owner of Resute, Gary Gargota-san. Gary? As in Mr. Cucumber or something? Honestly, these ridiculous Japanese names are quite unfathomable. Yes. The old man who testified earlier alongside the military sergeant, correct? Yes, Your Excellency. I remember him saying there was up to something with the Koban coin when it happened. Exactly the moment the gun was fired. The gunshot interested me not. I was far too busy on the floor. Too busy on the floor? I'm sorry, what were you doing? Hunting for treasure. Indeed, the Hoya Koban, my prized coin. This Hoya Koban, do you mean to tell me?
Objection!
Oh, no, please. Gargota-san Koban. Sandwich between the victim's beefsteak and his plate. Makes no sense.
Yes!
Because it's not the victim's plate. Which is why I'm asking to bring Gargota-san back to the witness stand so we can ask him. Officer, bring both witnesses that testified earlier back in here. Without a moment's delay. Can't believe we've come back around to that day again. But I have a hunch. A strong hunch. If we chase down the real significance of this program, find that's a key element in the case. I still think that that's not the right plate. He grabbed both. Also, that stand is quite large now. I did not think it would fit 4 people. What's this all about? Why have I been called up again? Don't you realize that's dinner time for little baby Idol? When my son's belly is empty, he's fresher than a pack of wolves. Exploited by the police we were. Like miserable dogs forced to bear false witness. When cast from this courtroom myself, I became a ruined man in a trance. A worthless, withered antique. Nothing more have I to say. Someone set on this Resute shop in his existence. Be that as it may, Kakoto-san, something has come to light that requires your clarification. As far as your Resute memory serves. Poor military man, he just got stabbed in the foot. That's it. That's the one. The very one. The exact one that it is. My splendid, magnificent treasure. My mercy bones managed to misplace that fateful day. It can't be. I thought. Young man! Enlighten Mr. Capital Fool. Put me out of my misery. Where was my treasure? Where was it dropped? I'm not sure if it was dropped. I found your coin sandwiched between a beefsteak and its plate, soaking the seasoned meat's juices. Sandwiched? Soaking? Seriously? Clearly, it couldn't have fallen there by accident. Which means somebody must have hidden it there on purpose. Somebody concealed my treasure. Try slab meat in a metal plate. Who would do such a thing? Such an unconscionable thing! The guy standing next to you. Because we know he's struggling for money. Excuse me. Could I say something? Yes, of course. Proceed, Inspector Hasanaga. I mentioned this earlier on in the trial, but I was working undercover in the restaurant in order to investigate another case. The other case that is seemingly now relevant. That's right, the secret undercover operation. The Carnival is a high-class Western cuisine restaurant. It attracts wealthy diners, including many foreigners. Recently, there's been a run of similarly executed thefts targeting the restaurant's rich clientele. A number of such incidents have been reported to the police. Wicked crimes indeed. Ooh, he's sweating. You nervous? We want to nip the case in the bud quickly, especially with so many foreigners being affected. So that's why you were sent in undercover, is it? Yes. I took on the job of the waiter at the restaurant in order to flush out the criminal. Seems likely that this Cohen incident is the work of the same thief. Unbeknownst to us, there's a master thief at work in the restaurant on a regular basis. This was already the scene of several crimes, it seems. I don't know about the master thief part, but the identity of the person who stole and hid Kurakoto-san's Coven is all too clear. What? What? I think the court would like to hear the defense's view on this matter. Tell us, who is the despicable scoundrel that stole the Kurakoto-san's Coven and hid under the stake of his military name?
Take that!
Obviously, it can only be you. Sergeant Asa Nusa. How? Dare you? You monster? Monster? Because yeah, he's been sweating up a storm. I stole that coven, did I? I'm the master thief of the Carnival, am I? Seriously, accusing me of these crimes, cadet? If it wasn't me, it was Ido! Ido is the mastermind behind all this. Throwing the baby under the bus? Dang. You essentially just admitted to it, man. You would push the blame for your crimes onto your own son, innocent little baby. It's you who's the monster, Sergeant Nusa. Pull! Horsey time! That was something. Whoa. Well trained, baby. I found Imperial Army Sergeant Asa Nusa preparing to stand down in the Supreme Court, sir. Hide. Do any of you know the extraordinarily low wages of the Nippon Imperial Army pays that it expects to keep our country safe? I understand that the temporary increase in taxation owing to the recently added conflicts remain in place. And I have heard it's hard for lower-ranking soldiers to make a living, yes. All I want is to put a hot meal on the table for my son. That's why you were stealing things at the restaurant? Place is heavy with money. Every 3 days I'd go there to do reconnaissance for a target. I'd enjoy chomping my way through a good steak at the same time. Sounds like he doesn't bother with the knife and fork, which is worryingly believable. Your target that day was the old man in his coat. Yes, sir. He was an easy mark. I slipped the coin in my pocket without any trouble at all. A veritable phantom thief you are! I was all set from the steak. I was halfway through devouring when it happened. Bang! Surprise! Yes. Yes, when the professor was shot. I knew that if the police conducted a search and found the coin in my pocket, I'd be finished. I don't too. So I hid the incriminating evidence as fast as I could. On the double! I slipped under the stick, hoping that I'd be able to rendezvous with it again at a later date. Everyone is apparently stunned. This is ridiculous. Perhaps you could carry on with this absurd prattling in your own time. But no, this is relevant! Exactly, that was his plate, not our plate! Which is what I was saying from the beginning, because he did mention he grabbed both plates. Well, Miss Brett. Oh, of course, dear lady, of course. How rude of us! I'm quite sure there's no need to detain you any longer at all. Bonk. My esteemed gentlewoman, please be excused, Your Excellency. Indeed. The theft of the Coben was clearly perpetrated by this baby-saddled sergeant. It certainly appeared to be unrelated to Dr. Wilson's murder. Yet it is related. Of course it is. Hiding a coin under a lump of meat. The sheer nonsense of such an idea astounds me. Nonsense, is it? But... and as for picking up your steak and biting into it without using a knife and fork, beyond nonsense, it's pure madness. Also, okay, that part's unrelated. Very well. Now that all questions concerning this witness's testimony have been answered, I see no further justification for detaining her. Miss Brett, you're free to leave. Thank you, Your Excellency. Good luck, everyone. No, not yet. Good day. Objection! It's okay. What's the matter with you? It's no time for daydreaming. No, it's just... something about Miss Brett's parting words that got me thinking. I can't quite work out what exactly, but something she said jarred me. Like there's a contradiction there. Something didn't quite add up. If that's the case, don't just stand there thinking. Make your voice heard. Sorry? You can think later. But if you don't call out now, it'll be too late. Trial will be over.
Hold it!
Wait, Miss Brett. What is it now? I'm afraid just one last time. There's something I'd like to ask you. I'd like you to explain the contradiction in your parting words from just a few moments ago. What are you talking about? What contradiction?
Objection!
What new student nonsense is this? Well, what parting words are you talking about, Arasake? Okay. Nonsense. I think it might be related to the not using a knife. Because if we look at the steak... Hold on, let me look. If we look at the steak, those are bite marks. Okay, it's gonna look at the coin. Dang it. I'm looking... That looks more like bite marks than cut. So I think that's it. Going to need to see evidence, Counsel. Miss Brett's words are truly are contradictory. Where's the evidence to prove it? See, I don't know if it would necessarily be contradictory, but it links with this, proving that this steak was his. Yeah, wrong thing.
Take that!
The steak that Miss Brett had been eating before the professor was killed, yes? Go on. More accurately, Your Excellency. The steak that was on the victim's table just before the professor. You're just splitting hairs. Ooh, she knows what I'm on about. Not true. Doesn't something about the steak strike you as very unnatural? Unnatural? What on earth do you mean? It's extremely obvious. I'm talking about the shape of the edge where it's been eaten. Shock! I see you've noticed it too, Miss Brett. Noticed what exactly, Counsel? Just a few moments ago, Miss Brett claimed no Englishman could even contemplate picking up a steak and biting into it without using a knife and fork. Of course she did. She's a fine English gentlewoman herself. Take a good look at this steak, in particular the edge where it's been eaten. Hungry now, num. As you can see, there are clearly defined barbaric teeth marks there. Oh! Ah! It's like Miss Brett has realized something. So, the witness, as she claims, wouldn't contemplate even anything without using a knife and fork. Therefore, it shouldn't be teeth marks in the steak at all.
Objection!
What is your actual point? Perhaps the delightful Miss Brett was ravenously hungry and couldn't help us? She won't even accept that. Not even to get her out of this. Whatever you say, dear lady. As I said, I really must be leaving now. Afternoon tea with the Minister of Justice cannot possibly wait any longer. Of course. This will all be over in the blink of an eye. Rest assured, I'm about to put this work in his place. Leave everything to me. Yeah, you've not been doing a very good job. I've had enough. You irritating little spectacled samurai relic. Of course, dear lady. What's the matter, Miss Brett? Have we ruffled your feathers? Clearly, the witness knows what this means. She's realized the catastrophic implications these teeth marks in the steak have for her. Kanasuke, do you know where you're going with this? Yeah, I've been knowing this one since the plate got brought out. Yes, now at last, it's all coming together. Mysterious teeth marks in a steak that had allegedly been eaten with cutlet. The reason why the bloodstain I know I saw somehow seems to have disappeared. The most important thing, the evidence that proves once and for all who shot Dr. Wilson. I accept that these teeth marks in the steak are a little unnatural, as you put it, Counsel. But what exactly are you suggesting that tells us? Everything, Your Excellency. Everything? Yes, I believe that these barbaric teeth marks in the steak here amount to conclusive evidence in this case. Evidence that will prove beyond any doubt who shot Dr. Wilson. Conclusive evidence? How many times have I heard that today? Who would know the meaning of that phrase, typical Japanese empty threats? You can be so sure. Oh, it's quite simple. If you really had such conclusive evidence, you would have presented it to court long ago. Actually, the evidence I'm talking about hasn't been brought before the court yet. Hasn't been... What? But just because it hasn't been shown yet, doesn't mean that the evidence does not exist.
Objection!
This is absurd! Trial has run several hours already and you say the evidence yet to be brought forward? It can't be! I don't believe you have it!
Objection!
I don't. But there's someone who does have it. Someone in this very courtroom. That person is willing to submit the piece of evidence I'm referring to. It will solve every remaining mystery about this case. Very well, I have a feeling this will be my last request of the defense in this trial. Who possesses the conclusive evidence? Is still Hasanaga. He grabbed the wrong plate.
Take that!
The answer is obvious. Inspector Hasanaga. What? I have it? Yes. You think I've been withholding conclusive evidence? That's ridiculous. No, I'm not saying that. Everyone's attention has been focused on this steak with the teeth marks. Yes? Now, earlier this afternoon, Sergeant Mason told the court the following. I'd enjoyed chomping my way through a good steak. As well as admitting to stealing Viracocha-san's coin, he told us that he slipped it under the steak. Watch a cadet? I'm a superior officer? Not currently. Sergeant Nissa, could you please confirm something? Was the steak that you put the coin under, in fact, your own steak? Attention! Affirmative, of course. I might be a soldier in the Imperial Nippon Army, but still. I'm not brave enough to ask a foreign gentle lady if she'd mind me manhandling her meal to hide something in it. In other words, the steak that the detective submitted as evidence earlier was in fact Sergeant Noosa's meal.
Objection!
That makes no sense! That plate was taken from the victim's table!
Objection!
Yet the gentlewoman doesn't take bites out of her steak, nor did she have an opportunity to steal a coin. Of course I didn't steal it! To even suggest such a thing would be an affront to the entire British Empire. Well then, how do you explain this paradox? Exactly. Surely, you're not going to suggest. The sergeant switched the two steaks over. No? You did switch the plates? After it happened, okay. When I saw this villain had been murdered right in front of my eyes like that, I panicked. As I said, I immediately lifted my steak and hid the coin underneath it. Then when the waiter announced he was in the couple of policemen, I thought I had it. Decided to investigate my side of the meat, that'd be it. Beginning my marching orders. Okay, wrong plate, but not on purpose. So the cadet here is arrested and taken off to the kitchen. I seized my chance. With military precision and timing, I switched my steak with the one on the foreign lady's table. What? Captain, I never saw you do such a thing. It was called Operation Light. There's no time for strategic planning. It was do or die, I tell you. So yes, I did what had to be done. Unbelievable. However, fear not, Patsukuta-san. No. I surrounded the brass buttons on my uniform. That is all I did, sir. All you did? It's plenty, Sergeant.
Yes!
So, Sergeant Noosa switched the plates over. It means he took Miss Brett's stick, and the plate it was on, back to his own table. Yes, that follows. Inspector Hasanaga. Yes? Earlier in this trial, you told the court this. You said that you had not only taken Miss Brett's steak after this, but also the sergeant's. That to preserve evidence, you had to take it, but that's correct. And please present it to the court now. The plate that was actually on the victim's table at the precise moment he was shot.
Shut up!
What can that possibly tell us now? My cold's not on top of me. It can't have the slightest bearing on the case.
Objection!
We're back to the bloodstain. No, you're not willing your way out of it this time. Beg your pardon? Surely you're not that forgetful. Surely you remember the reason why the stick pen promises to prove such a problem for you? No. You're the ones who decided it was a problem, not me. The reason the defense asked to see that plate was to confirm something the defendant remembers seeing. Thanks, he remembers. I'm quite sure of what I saw there. The side of the plate that was on the table directly behind Dr. Wilson. There was a clear spattering of blood when a gunshot went to the victim's chest. I believe the defendant's memory serves him well. Now we have the evidence to prove it. The plate you were eating from, Miss Brett. Let's not prolong this any further, Inspector. You will show the evidence to the court. Present the beefsteak and plate that was originally on the victim's table at the time of the incident. That towel has got to be quite dirty at this point. He's wiped his mouth a number of times. Plate number 2. Sorry for keeping you waiting. Here's the other steak and its plate. Please feel free to examine it. Like, come on, man, how did you not see that? All clean cut, with blood, clearly visible. Look.
Yes!
Now this makes everything clear. The blood you can see on the side of the plate shows that the moment the victim was shot, he was facing the table with his back to it. In other words, it's impossible for Naruhodo-san to have shot the victim. It could be? In fact, there's only one person who could possibly have shot Dr. Wilson from the front. I'm sure everyone knows by now who that person is. That's right, Miss Giselle Brandt. It's you. Oh, little swan. Done by a Japanese, by a Japanese schoolboy. No, no, no. Angry bird. Wow, this is quite comedic. Okay. Hey birdies! Little chicks. Peck, peck, peck. That was quite the dramatization there. Please excuse my outburst. I briefly lost my composure. Most unbecoming behavior for an English gentleman. Forgive me. Well, it's Brett. I think it's time you told the court what actually happened that day. The truth this time. Gladly, Your Excellency. It was I who took the professor's life is incorrect. As you surmised, I chose that particular day for one very important reason. The professor had a dental appointment for the extraction of one of his teeth in the morning. So we planned to kill the professor, knowing that no trace of poison would be found in his water. This career is unheard of here. Yes. Of course, I never intended to remain at the restaurant for as long as I did. I only needed to see the professor take one tiny sip of his water and it would all be over. I placed the stick out in front of him to make it appear as though he had been dining alone. Leave immediately. However, before any of that happened, there was an unexpected visitor at the professor's table. That would be me, I suppose. Yes, you. Who else? Such a trifling matter. The fact that you decided to come over the great professor. And that I had lost my chance to slip away unnoticed. In due course, the professor took a sip of his water and was paralyzed. I made sure he was sitting in his chair such that he wouldn't fall. There's no going back at that point, so I concocted a plan on the spur of the moment. A plan to pin Dr. Wilson's murder on this innocent man. I happen to know that the professor always carries a gun. I decided to use that fact to my advantage. I had the bottle of Curare in my handbag, and my own pistol concealed under my skirt. Under your skirt? So I was right. There were two guns. Yes. Then I finished my coffee, got up to leave. That's when I noticed the professor's gun, which you had presumably placed on the floor. Placed where you were sure that I would notice it. And everything went according to plan. Noticed the gun as I'd intended. Then, just as you bent down to pick it up, that's when you shot the professor with your own gun, even though at that point he was already dead. Naturally, the gunshot caused a commotion, at which point the waiter appeared. Obviously, I assumed Naruto-san was the culprit and apprehended him. I took him to the pantry that joins the kitchen and locked him inside. That's when I took the opportunity to turn the professor and his chair around. Because of course, you need to make it look like the defendant had shot Dr. Wilson from where he'd picked up the gun. So there you have it. That is the entirety of my misdemeanor. Your Excellency? Yes? I wonder. Might I speak with you in private later? I shall call on you. Thank you. Good day then, everyone. I hope you can forgive me, Naruto-san. She's totally gonna murder the judge. I feel like that's... Or she's gonna try and bribe him in some way. Either one of those is totally gonna happen. And she's gonna get away with it because she's an Englishwoman. It would seem this trial has finally run its course. I presume the prosecution is in agreement. It can't be because the judge does not lose. Not like this rookie student. You better start getting used to tough opposition. Right in the second Naruto? Yes? This insult to the Archie family name will never be forgotten. You've become conceited with age, Council. The old have to stand aside and make way for the new. It's the way of the world. May you never forget that. Slice, slice. Pulling out a sword in the courtroom. Lower his hair. Very precise, but also questionable whether he's technically allowed to do that. 1,000 millennia may pass, and still the Clan will never measure up to the Naruto clan. This trial in the Supreme Court of Japan will, I believe, go down in history, the start of a new chapter in our country's judicial system. Despite being summoned as the accused, you, Rinosuke Naruto, presented an excellent case. Thank you, Your Excellency. The use of evidence and deduction to unravel the truth is a modern methodology. After all, it has only been a few short decades since our country opened its doors to the wider world. But the Western ideas of science are rapidly gaining acceptance. I feel sure that science will soon bring new methods of investigation and new procedures of justice. A new future of law awaits. But what will it look like? I cannot begin to imagine. That is for the young to decide. Kazuma Osogi. Yes? After this trial, you are set to embark on a journey of discovery to the illustrious British Empire. Learn all you can, absorb everything of the wider world that you are able to. Do not forget to fulfill the mission imposed upon you. I understand, Your Excellency. What is that about? Why do you look so grave all of a sudden? Never mind. As for you, Renosuke Naruto. Yes? In you, I sense, how can I put it, unusual potential. I very much look forward to seeing how you carry that on. Thank you, Your Excellency. It is time to deliver the final verdict. Hereby find the defendant Ranosuke Naruto not guilty. Woohoo! Still shocked. And I'm not actually sure when we moved over to the witness stand, but okay. This court is now adjourned. To 46. Defendant's antechamber number 5. I can't believe it. I can't believe what's happened. I made it. I defended myself and made it through that horrendous trial. And Inosuke finally pulled it off. Congratulations. Well, I couldn't have done it without you. Thank you, Kazuma. No, it was a pleasure to watch you at work. So you owe me an extra large sukiyaki from the place on University Street. Don't forget. Good afternoon. All your hard work has certainly paid off. Congratulations to both of you for proving Naruto Sen's innocence. Ah, I trusted judicial assistant. You were part of that result too, you know. Oh, no, I didn't do anything. Thank you so much. If we hadn't had that research report of Miss Bretz, I don't know how things would have turned out. Your kind words should really be from my father. I was simply doing as he asked. It was his idea for me to go to the university and investigate. Father? Yes, of course. Forgive me for intruding on court proceedings, Your Excellency. Susato Mikotoba, a judicial assistant to the defense. Speaking of Mikotoba. Ah, there you are. I believe congratulations are in order. Naruto, you did an excellent job. Well, thank you, Professor. Oh, no, it is not I who should be thanking you. Or it is I who should be thanking you. After all, your efforts exposed the true criminal that took the life of my good friend. Good friend? Yes, you mentioned that before. It was you who actually invited Dr. Wilson to Yume University, wasn't it? Yes, that's right. Professor Mikotoba studied overseas himself, and studied forensic medicine in Great Britain. Presumably, that's when you met Dr. Wilson? Exactly. In those days, we worked together in the same hospital. Oh, we worked together? Never heard you mention that before? Well, it was a long time ago. Besides, it's your turn, Soki. Great Britain is a magnificent country. It leads the world. Science, medicine, engineering, culture, and of course, the law. Watch and learn with it. See what's happening in the world's largest melting pot. I will. I'll learn all that I can. I swear on this, the spirit of the Asogi. Not taking that sword to Great Britain, are you? Of course I am. A Japanese man's katana is a sword. Blade shows me where I need to go. It cuts down anything that's in my way. Yes, I've definitely seen how sharp it is already with my own eyes. That reminds me, what happened to the woman? To Giselle Brett. After all, she's guilty of murder. Yes, her. It's not easy to tell you this, but... What do you mean? Surely she's gonna face trial herself now. She's the true culprit after all. She'll be leaving Japan in the very near future. For Shanghai. What? Shanghai? I'm assuming they don't want to get in trouble for trying her, so they're just gonna send her off and be like, here you go, you deal with the problem. Giselle Brett will not appear in court again in this country. I'm certain of that. What? Why not? Matter of consular jurisdiction. Inspector Hasnaga. There's a hard-fought battle in the court today. Very impressive to watch. I must congratulate you. But what's all this about consular jurisdiction? We cannot try this particular foreigner for crimes here in Japan. True, because I did just think of that. No Japanese were actually... No Japanese people were a part of it. So it's not their people. Because the killer was English, and the victim was English. What? Why? We can't try her? Then who? Who's gonna bring her to justice? A British consular court will hear her case, somewhere far away where our voices can't be heard. But why a consular court? Professor, I simply don't understand. I thought consular courts were a thing of the past now that we've signed the Friendship Treaty. Yes, in normal circumstances, you're right. As long as this is not a serious incident of a highly political nature to our respective governments. They can't invoke a consular court just like that. But can't they? Yes, she's a student, but it doesn't justify governments making secret agreements about her fate, does it? Something strange is going on. She got some sort of connection then, too. She's gotta be someone special. So Miss Britt can't be held accountable for her actions here in Japan. Afraid that for a young student. Today's trial is nothing more than a game all along. There's never any danger of comeuppance for her. I don't believe it. The British government's Foreign Affairs Minister has demanded that we hand over custody of Miss Brett. They're obviously taking this case to a Foreign Student Committee matter very seriously. It's all going to change from now on. We can make it change. This is a time of great turmoil, this new era heralded by the start of the 20th century. One day, I have no doubt, that woman will receive the judgment she deserves. Yes, change is coming. We're the ones driving it. Well, I think that's enough seriousness for now. This evening calls for a celebratory drink. But, Professor... You're right. This is no time for gloomy faces. We should be celebrating Ranosuke's not guilty verdict. Start having some fun. In that case, might I suggest La Caravelle? As the head waiter, I should be delighted to provide you with ample food and drink. You're a detective, Hasnaga-san? Aren't you? Yeah, do you need to keep the head waiter position anymore? You solved the crime you were investigating. I guess he hasn't technically quit yet. Let's not worry about details for now. To La Caravelle, will you accompany us, Professor? Of course. La Caravelle's food is second to none. I shall go and attend to the paperwork for now, Herr Sam's release. Oh yes, thank you. So Giselle Burt won't be tried here. I suppose that means I'll never know. Never find out why she killed Dr. Wilson. Kazuma. Yes, Ranosuke? I just wanted to say thanks again, that's all. You really saved my skin again. I didn't do a thing! You were the lawyer in there, weren't you? The defense was all your own work. Yeah, your skills made the difference, though. One day I'll bet you'll be the best lawyer in the world. I'm not so sure about that. Got some pretty tough competition here. To be honest, something kept occurring to me over and over again during that trial. I couldn't help thinking that maybe you're the one destined to become a great lawyer, not me. Oh, come on, be serious! If I had helped you today, it's only right. At the very start of the trial. You have a natural talent for it. Bring a defense like me. Oh no, not me! All that tense verbal combat? I never want to go through that again. I did what you told me to do, that's all. Because I knew I could trust you. That's the point. Sorry? What do you mean, that's the point? Listen, Random Circuit. Do you know what the most crucial weapon is that any lawyer needs in order to win? Knowledge of the law? No. The ability to believe. Believe? Believe what? Defense lawyer has to fight for his clients. He has to believe in them at all times. Think you believed in me when I said I didn't do it? I'm human, just like you. I don't have some superhuman ability to know the truth. You have to make a choice about what to believe in and stick to it when you're defending someone. Sometimes in the courtroom, you can really be backed into a corner. Being able to remain faithful to what you choose to believe in, even then. That's not something that anyone can do. It's a special kind of person. Believing in your client. Let's look at today's trial. I'm a student lawyer with precious little real experience. But you never stopped believing in me. Well, you faced seemingly hopeless situations time and again, but you never stopped looking for the truth. In the end, you found it. Through your own efforts. Because you never stopped believing. Thanks, Kazuma. There's something I want to ask you, actually. Random Circuit. Well, it's a favor, really. Something very important to me. Sounds serious. What is... you're still here, are you? No, Inspector Osnaga. I have arranged some rickshaws for us. Well, let's go. Thank you. We'll be right there. Let's pick up this conversation again. We should be celebrating right now. We have first cup victory. And your state honor to Great Britain, don't forget. Ah, yes, that too. So my very first trial came to an end. Kazuma... Professor Mikotoba. Suzata-san, who acted as my assistant. Inspector Osnaga, who didn't really play much of a part, but still. He provided crucial evidence. That helped. It's because of the help and support of all of these people that I managed to get through that crime. But more importantly, someone hadn't yet managed to ask his favor. Oh, did I realize just how much it would change my life. There we go! Episode 1, the start of the journey. Alright, Unbreakable Speckled Band. Episode 2.
In a corner of that small, dark room, Sholmes and I waited with bated breath. In time, there came from the ventilator a hiss and a soft, almost growl-like sound. Suddenly, Sholmes sprang into action, lashing furiously with his cane at a point in the darkness. "You see it, Wilson?" he yelled, his tense voice reverberating through the air. I raised my dark lantern shutter, and the room slowly came into view. Sholmes was staring intently at one particular corner when he started whispering to me. The victim's most perplexing final words. The Speckled Band. I believe this is the terrible coil to which you referred, Wilson. In front of us was an enormous adder, its fangs bared as it threatened to strike. It truly was the most terrible speckled band I had ever seen.
Okay. Pretty early Clearly on a steamship, apparently. Whoop.
So then, let us unravel this mystery and discover what events led to this curious murder. Pray, do excuse me. The cabin door was bolted from the inside when the man was killed. No marks to suggest the bolt was tampered with in any way. So, this would appear to be a locked room mystery. In his final moments, the victim scrawled a message on the floor. Almost certainly with the ink from this upset bottle. A Russian word. So the victim was a Russian man then. And the letters are well formed, suggesting he was compos mentis at the time. This is a most extraordinary script. And evidently not penned by the same hand as this message. In fact, I deduce it was written by someone of a different nationality.
Okay.
This paper seal was placed just prior to the incident, by the victim himself, I would venture. Well, what have we here?
Oh, what in the world is going on?
Who are you, and what do you think you're doing here?
Da! No one must touch before maritime police come. We must wait!
Shh. That won't be necessary. You see, in less than 5 seconds from now, I will reveal the killer to you.
What? Don't be absurd. This is murder. An in-cabin locked from inside.
Ah yes, the locked room. But that mystery is paper thin.
You don't mean the culprit is in there?
Who are you? And where have you come from?
I'm a great British consultant detective, the only one in the world. Herlock Sholmes. I presume you must have heard of me.
I love that name. Herlock Sholmes. My head is throbbing. What's going on? Something's not right here. There's trouble in the air. Wakey wakey! Wait, can't move. What the? Why am I in handcuffs? So you wake up now. We had to drag you out of the wardrobe. I do not believe how you could not wake up. You are a true cold-blooded man. Doing such a terrible job at the accent. You found me then. Ah, we found you. And now you pay. Come in. How long are you hiding in that tiny wardrobe, Sorry? Now you have been found. It is time to admit your crimes. Unless you want to find out how cold the ocean is. No, I'll tell you everything. Only one thing I'd like to know from you. That... Why did you do it? Why did you take his life? Miss Susato. Wait, what did you just say? Take his life? Where is he? Where's Kazuma? Oh no! This is quite the change from what we just saw. You pretend you do not know. You are a wolf in sheep's pelt. You are the killer? Do not try to make excuses. What? Kazuma-sama's body was discovered not long ago. Here, in this very cabin. That was bolted shut from the inside. His body? Please, do not try to tell us you were doing this terrible thing in your sleep. Someone's dead? It can't be. These handcuffs. Sure, you don't think I... I have to know. Why did you take Kazuma-sama's life? Answer me, please. No. Well, being framed again. Luma, it was just 2 short weeks ago. You sure about this? Won't get in trouble? And don't you find it fun being a stowaway? Besides, how else could you come to England with me to study? There's really something else when they brought your luggage in here earlier, though. Maybe that Russian crewman just tossed your traveling case on the floor. Thought I was gonna die. Yes, I still can't quite believe that. I didn't think you'd be able to fit inside my trunk. Must be even less of a man than you look. Hey, honestly, I've broken every bone in my body. It's about 50 days until we dock in Great Britain. But if you confine yourself to my cabin here, I don't expect anyone else will discover you. Hope not. Get the feeling those Russians wouldn't be very forgiving of a stowaway. So that's why he placed the symbol on there. Because he was trying to hide Ramasuke from whoever the actual killer was. They're a sturdy bunch, that's for sure. What I want to know is, why do I need to keep this secret from the young lady? My faithful judicial assistant Mikotoba, you mean? From your close friend, more to the point? Surely we could confide in her, couldn't we? I don't believe she'd give me away. No, but if she knew what we'd done, that would make her guilty by association. It's best that only you and I know about this. I suppose so. Anyway, it's about time that the steward is supposed to come and clean the cabin. I know it's cramped, but you better get in there, I think. It won't be for long. Anyway, compared to hiding inside my traveling case, it'll be a breeze. Yes, but what if the steward decides to open the wardrobe for some reason? Then I'll be in for it. Stop worrying. Tell you what, why don't you write "keep out" or something on this piece of paper? Oh, what? And then I can stick it over the wardrobe doors once you're inside. I don't know. We'll have been at sea for about 15 days. How come this have happened? We were supposed to be going on this adventure to England together. We leave you at Nextport. Stay quiet until then. Don't make more trouble for yourself. Mother. No, I'm not a murderer. Ah, you said before. You said you admit everything about your crimes. No, that's not right. And yes, I did stow away on this ship, but murdering my best friend? No one else could have done it. Admit the truth. Suzuda-san. Please, tell me what happened. I need to know. Very well. There is something I would like to ask you too. Besides, it looks like she's ready to destroy me. Nightmare's getting worse by the minute. That's all I can do is try to find out what really happened. Oh, I mean, the main one we want to know about is the death. He really has been killed, hasn't he? This isn't just a bad dream? And these handcuffs. Do you think I did it? I think I'm Cosmo's killer. When they found him, the cabin was locked from the inside. What do you mean? There's no access to the cabin via a porthole window. The bolt on the door can't be operated from outside. In other words, after the crime, the culprit couldn't have escaped these 4 walls. What? To put it another way, the culprit can only have been somebody inside this cabin. Or do you have some other explanation? This is impossible. How did he die then? What happened exactly? Are you still going to deny the charge, even despite the circumstances? Please, Suzuda-san, you have to tell me. The cause of death is still undetermined. don't know how he died. The ship's doctor is examining the body, but of course, he has no post-mortem analysis experience. I don't suppose we shall learn more until an expert has been consulted at our next port of call. So presumably that means that there were no obvious external signs of injury. That's true, yes? Can't anyone tell me what actually happened here in this cabin? I don't understand. Why would anyone want to kill Cosmo? Presumably that's something you know the answer to better than anyone. Please. How do you say you were here in the cabin after? Yes, I was, but... He'll always wake up before dawn and do his training first thing in the morning. I was waiting outside his cabin as I have every day so far on this voyage. This morning he did not come. It sensed that he wouldn't. That mean he's already dead when Otto-san arrived at his cabin door, I wonder? I knocked, but there was no reply. I started to become worried. I went to find a member of the crew. The crewman forced the cabin door open, and when we managed to get inside... There was Kazuma-sama, collapsed on the floor. But why would he write a Russian word then? That's quite suspicious. Do we know what the Russian word is? And the white tape there now shows exactly where he was found, I suppose. No idea anything had happened. Must have been asleep in the wardrobe somehow. I wish it wasn't the case, but that's just very hard to believe. It's all very hard to believe for me too, trust me. Now I've told you everything I know. My turn to ask you a question. Yes, alright. I feel so heavy, so throbbing like anything. Did Ranosuke get bonked? If you're not the culprit, then tell me. What happened last night here in this cabin? Oh, the thing is, I don't really remember. Zuma brought me something to eat, just like he always did. I got myself into that wardrobe over there, just like I always did. After that, I... fell asleep? Well, yes. So deeply that you didn't even stir when Kazuma-sama was killed? Hello? Yes. Sounds like he was drugged. And I wonder if the person put the drug in the food intending it for Kazuma. But we ate it instead. I know it sounds unbelievable, really I do. But it's the truth. If only I'd woken up, then perhaps I wouldn't be in this predicament. For some reason, my head's still throbbing like anything. Really? Is something wrong? No, it's... Please forget it. Suzano-san, you have to believe me, I didn't do it. I really don't want to doubt you. The trouble is, there is no one else who could possibly have done this. Why are you even on board this ship now, Hana-san? You said something before about being a stowaway, didn't you? Yes, I'm afraid that's true. 2 weeks since we left Japan now, and I've been shut up in this cabin the entire time. I had no idea. How could you have occupied Kazuma-sama's cabin for so long without him noticing? No, that would have been possible, obviously. Yes, of course. Kazuma invited me. He wanted us to go to England together. He actually asked you? Why? I'm afraid I don't really know the answer myself. I don't understand. Kazuma, why do you want this? What's the real reason? Why go to such extreme lengths to smuggle me to England with you? It's an idea that's been in my mind ever since the end of that incredible trial. I think I told you then, didn't I? That you ought to become a lawyer yourself? Yes, you did say that. I didn't think you were serious. You have the talent for it. I can assure you of that. I've never really thought about becoming a lawyer. Well, that's something you can decide for yourself. London is at the spearhead of cultural development. It's now the world in many ways. Can't be any harm in seeing such an important place with your own eyes, can there? Well, no, definitely not. But on a personal level, if you were to become a lawyer, then what? Nothing. Forget it. Well, he had his reasons then, apparently. He just never told us. Kazuma-sama is always saying the same thing. They wanted to change the Japanese legal system. Perhaps he thought he could do that with you. Yeah, maybe. Something's still bothering me a little. Look in his eyes then. It's darker than I'd ever seen it before. This is Susato-san. I'm sorry that we kept it a secret from you. They stowed away on the ship. If I'm not Kazuma-san, I expect he was trying to protect me, to avoid me becoming guilty by association. That's exactly right, yes. We're perfect, in fact. Kazuma, I don't understand. Why? Why did this have to happen? I can't take this. Don't try to go anywhere. You're the perpetrator of this crime. You can't leave. I can't allow that to happen. Sorry, but Cosmo was killed right under my nose here. And I didn't do anything to stop it. I'm supposed to just sit around? My hands tied while whoever did this walks free? No, I can't allow that to happen. Well, what do you propose to do then? I'm going to investigate and find out exactly what happened here. I'm going to work out who took Cosmo's life and how and why they did it. So I'm sorry, but you're going to have to excuse me. What the? Haha. That was a Susato takedown. Susato what? Martial art form is that? I'm going to need you to prove it. Sorry, prove it? Yes, your innocence. I need evidence. How am I supposed to? You've forgotten already what you achieved just a few weeks ago. You successfully defended yourself in a court of law. See, she's expecting me to present some conclusive evidence. I have to get Susato-san to believe me. I'll show her some evidence right now, because I'm not guilty of this awful crime. Yeah, the Russian crew might not be able to read this, but that's gotta be it. This is the paper seal I wrote for the wardrobe. I remember really working hard to make it. I'll never forget how Cosmo reacted. I expect the Russian crew to be able to read that. Still, I was sure people would get the idea, even if they couldn't read it. So we used it anyway. And it worked. I don't know if the crew thought it was creepy or what, but no one opened the doors. You can see the remnants of the glue we used to stick this over the wardrobe doors. It wasn't proper, of course. We didn't have any of that mess. So I pulverized some rice into a paste to use instead. To a stowaway like me, every single grain of rice represents precious rations. So I spread it as thinly as I possibly could. I couldn't bear to waste any.
Yes!
And tell me, when I was discovered in the wardrobe before, was this piece of paper stuck over the doors? Oh, yes it was. Remember clearly. That's it. Cosmo always put it in place whenever I went to sleep at night. Just in case the cabin steward or another crew member decided to look inside. So naturally, he did the same last night as well. Yes, of course. The gentleman who discovered you peeled that sign from the wardrobe doors before he opened them. But if I were truly the culprit, I couldn't have climbed back inside the wardrobe and stuck this on the outside of the doors on my own. Yes, that's a bit true. In other words, it's impossible that I killed Cosmo. Well, even if you are sprawled hopelessly on the floor, I can see why Cosmo-sama thought so highly of you. Thank you, Sana-san. Now, do you think perhaps you could help me out? Well, in the light of that evidence, I don't see any reason why I should stop you from investigating here, at least. Thank you. So you finally believe me? I'm sorry, no. What? I'm not sure yet. I can't rule out the possibility that I used some sort of conjuring trick to put the sign back in position. I should think I am a magician? Now, I suggest you investigate as thoroughly as possible in here. I'll do the same. Alright, let's get to work, Susato-san. Please don't misunderstand me. I still have my doubts. Oh. I shall be watching you to make sure you do nothing that might disturb the crime scene. I wouldn't want you using your conjuring tricks to destroy evidence, for example. Right? Well, anyway, I should make a start investigating it here. Examine everything I can. Kazuma, I swear, I will avenge your death. Ooh, so we have this is a bit different. So we're gonna examine. Hey, Russian guy showed up. He wasn't there before. Perhaps I should see what this Russian crewman makes of the scene of the crime. Excuse me. What? I was wondering how it's going, the investigation. Grandmother told me Japanese people do not make jokes. But it is not true, I see. Sorry? The criminal asking an investigator for information about his crime? Very funny. It wasn't supposed to be a joke. He doesn't appear to be laughing either. He's convinced you're guilty. Might have useful information, though. I have to keep trying. So, last night, did you notice anything out of the ordinary at all? Yep, of course not. Now back to the corner of the room and make silent. I say no more to you. Do I have a nerve? Just for a minute there, he seemed a little flustered. Dear, that won't do. What's the matter, Susato-san? Whenever I'm examining things, I always find myself so focused I forget to look around properly. Yeah, that's not good. I don't suppose you're as foolish as me in that regard, are you, Naruhodo-san? Tutorial! I'm sure you're careful to look around, all around using the B and M? And that's an interesting keybind. Now let's investigate all corners of the cabin. Yes, let's do that. Suppose my field of vision has been rather small until now. It doesn't change a whole lot, mainly the wardrobe. The books have fallen over on the shelf. Look, they've all toppled the same way. And what's this? Statue of some god in the sea. Well, he's fallen over as well. Yes, it's almost as if the whole shelf has been ransacked. Everything mowed down at once. Wonder if... perhaps it was Kazuma-sama doing his morning sword training. Do you think? I seriously doubt it. Also, sword training probably would have resulted in damage. Hold up. And perhaps it was you, Naruhodo-san, in a bit of rage? I wouldn't have bothered leaving the wardrobe just to mess up a few books and a statue. The way these things have been thrown about have anything to do with the cave wonder. Well, I'll just set everything straight again. I don't like to see a mess. That questionable? Messing with the scene a little bit there. These are the rules of passage for travel aboard the SS Burn. It's essentially a list of requests from the captain to all passengers on board. Passengers must not keep weapons or other dangerous objects in their cabins. Pets are also strictly forbidden. So his sword wasn't allowed in here? Or at least it wasn't supposed to be in here. What? Are you staring at me? Oh, sorry, I was just thinking. Are you more of a dangerous object or a pet? Definitely more of the pet. I can't decide. Well, one thing's for sure, either way, I wasn't supposed to be in here. And that's Kazuma-sama's precious sword. He never went anywhere with it. Yes, he's always saying that Japanese man's katana is his soul. I believe he had to work very hard to convince the government to allow him to bring it on this trip. So that shows just how important it was to him. Now he's gone. Not ready to let his spirit go just yet. What's that? What do you think this is? Looks like a broken piece of glassware? The thing was, it appears to have broken clean in two. Potentially a sword break? The glass is such a beautiful color. Looks like a cute little Natsuke fastener from a kimono outfit. Not sure that sounds like Kazuma. He wouldn't have secretly carried a cute little trinket like this around him. Would he? And the art beside it. What is it, I wonder? It's sort of brick-like hue. You're right. This is the color of brick, isn't it? No, I don't see anything of the same color anywhere else in the cabin. It's a very large traveling case, isn't it? Yes, it carries a lot of memories for me. Memories? What do you mean? Oh, that's actually how I stowed away on this vessel. I was brought on board inside that case. Yes, I see it says this way up in Japanese. Which, in hindsight, I should have realized foreign crewmen wouldn't be able to read. I was turned over and over and over, and then I was tossed on the floor. Oh dear. Being a stowaway isn't as romantic as it sounds. Well, it was less painful than a Susato takedown. Okay. Little banner here. Seiji, Japanese word for justice. Brush strokes are straight and true, just like Kazuma. Yes, his calligraphy always was a reflection of his heart. You, can you really look at those characters without feeling shame, knowing who drew them so thoughtfully? Of course I can. I'm innocent, so why shouldn't I be able to? Even though you stowed away on this ship. Aren't going to bring that up, are you? Can't win. Well, we're innocent of the murder, not innocent of being a stowaway. When I went for help and the crewmen forced the door open, its bolt had been firmly closed. A small bolt, not particularly sturdy. It just slides across to secure the door shut. Still, with the door bolted, there would be no way to get in or out of the cabin, that's for sure. No wonder everyone suspects me. She glares at me like that. I feel tense all up and down my spine. I remember reading once in a detective novel. The culprit used a needle and thread to draw a bolt across from outside the room in a situation like this. Yes, that's a clever trick, isn't it? I'm an avid reader of detective stories myself. But the door of this cabin and its frame are made of metal, and they seal together perfectly. There'd be no possibility of using that needle and thread trick here, I'm afraid. Yep, saying that again. What about this? What's going on here? There was clearly a struggle of some kind. That's my dinner from last night. Roast chicken. It was very tasty. Yes, it was very delicious, wasn't it? But Did you eat it on the floor here? Not a dog, Suzume-san. I at the table, of course. Which begs the question of when and how the plate ended up on the floor. But Suzume-san didn't like chicken at all, did he? No, that's right. So he didn't touch it. Which meant all the more for me. Oh no. Does that mean Kazuma-sama spent his last night on this earth with an empty belly? It's just too horrible. I suddenly have a guilty conscience and an achy stomach. Not sure. Personally, I'm thinking that achy stomach is from a drug. There's nothing on this table at all. Playing cutlery all over the floor for some reason. Yeah, it's strange. Last night when I went to sleep, I'm sure everything was still... No, wait a minute. What is it? Funny, I can't seem to remember anything about what happened after dinner at all. So, then perhaps you are responsible for what happened to Kazuma-sama? No. See, all of this evidence is pointing towards chicken was drugged, meant for Kazuma, and Ranosuke ate it instead. Did Kazuma write that before he died? Looks like it's written in ink. He must have knocked the ink pot from the desk when he collapsed on the floor. I suppose he read this message by dipping his finger in the spillage. Oh, Kazuma-sama. The doctor is in terrible pain. It's almost unbearable to imagine it. Suppose he was trying to leave some kind of a clue in his final moments. Was he? Sorry, partner. I can't read your writing. I don't think that's Japanese, Naruhodo-san. What? And what language is it? It pains me to admit it, but I don't know. Well, detective guy said Russian, so... It's not a foreign script I'm familiar with. What does it mean, I wonder? Yeah, someone really needs to investigate that. This is where dear Kazuma-sama would have sat whenever he was writing. Oh, there's a journal. London Diary. Oh, Kazuma, he didn't even make it to his destination. It looks as though the last entry is incomplete. Which means, what? He was in the middle of writing it when the incident happened? So it says it could be a valuable clue. No? That's out of the question. Kazuma-sama may have departed this world, but you must not read his private thoughts. What if it's something important? Something relevant to the case? Alright, I won't read it. I am. Poor Kazuma-sama. I don't like prying into people's personal matters either. In this case, isn't the need for clues more important? Making sure... Okay, I think I've done everything here. This is... yes, it's a bell cord contraction, I think. What do you mean, contraction? I read about it in a book I was studying that talked about life in Great Britain. Large households often have bell cords like this, which you can pull to ring a bell to summon servants. Really? Sounds almost magical. Shall we give it a little try? Ah, yes. In the interest of cultural research, obviously. Ding ding! I suppose nobody comes for lowly Japanese people. Oh no, I'm sure it's just that everyone is busy, that's all. No, it's more likely that they know that that bell is not actually in use right now, and so they just ignored it. It's some 2 weeks since we set sail from Japan. Have you really been living in that wardrobe the entire time now, son? I think living isn't quite the right description. Oh, no, I suppose not. But it must have been rather exciting making this voyage in your own secret hideout. Trouble was, I never knew when a member of the crew might come in. So yes, I did basically have to live in the wardrobe. Last night was no exception. But because of that, you had no idea what was happening out here in the cabin. No, sadly not. What appears to be a vent, maybe? I think that's some kind of opening for a ventilator. The hole through which fresh air can circulate into the cabin. Isn't that a little odd? What do you mean? Well, this ventilator, if that's what it is, looks like it must connect to the next door cabin. Yes, it would appear to. You're right. But if its purpose is to allow fresh air into the room, surely it should be connected to the outside. That's true. Perhaps it's so that rain and spray don't find their way in when the seas are rough, or something like that. I suppose. Maybe that's it. Oh. Hi, man! Where did you come from? Who's that? He wasn't here a minute ago. As far as I can tell, it looks like he might be European. Oh, how did he... You've noticed the man too, have you? No idea who he is or how he got in here, but he looks suspicious. Tall. Suspiciously tall. Horo-san, don't tell me. Do you really not know who that is? Well, no, I don't have any foreign friends or acquaintances at all. Doesn't look like a member of the crew. Something very unusual about him. Is he investigating Kazuma's desk, or is he just playing on it? I can't tell. Well, in that case, we simply must talk with him. Am I just imagining it, or does Sasao-san look almost uncontrollably excited? Oh, by the way, I expect that you noticed already, but just in case. I just clicked on them, yeah. Alright then. I'll get that suspiciously tall gentleman in my sights and see what he has to say for himself. Oh, please do. Let me in. Excuse me? Excuse me, do you have a moment? Shh. A critical point in my investigation. Maybe I should leave him alone. He seems a little unfriendly. Yes, perhaps that would be for the best. Bye again. Oh, no, there you are. Greetings, if I haven't kept you long. What exactly were you doing on Kazuma's desk just now? Ah, I see. Fascinating. Sorry? What do you see? Feels like he's looking right through me. Oh yes, everything is clear. The train of reasoning has run its course. My deductions have crystallized. You have been in Afghanistan, I perceive. Just recently returned, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think so. Sorry, what? And now, whilst venturing toward foreign climes, you find yourself in a most troubling predicament. Well, that's true at least. But how? How the deuce did I know that? Perhaps. It was really a most elementary deduction, hardly worth explaining. Have you perhaps managed to deduce anything else? Of course, a great many things. There is no mystery, my dear. For example, you have fled your native land of Russia, being as you are a merciless revolutionary. Wow, he really got lucky and just was like, I wonder what's in the closet. You leave 16 victims of assassination in your wake, now travel to England to blow up the Crystal Tower. And when the ribboned occupant of this very cabin discovered your identity, you ended his life too. Yes, I believe that summarizes the facts beautifully. No need to hide the truth now. Nothing deceives these eyes. I think he's blind. We are a student from Japan who knows nothing about English and England and can barely read any English. And can't read Russian. Doesn't even recognize what Russian is. Good job, man. Good job. Just to be clear, you are talking about me, are you? Certainly I am. Do you see another in this cabinet who fits the bill? A Russian assassin with 16 victims to his name. I don't even see one person who fits the bill. Come on, Susato. Come on! You of all people know that we're Japanese, not Russian. We don't even look Russian. So it's true. It was you who did this to Kazuma-sama. What? Man, you're plotting a revolution too? It's shameful behavior, Narahara-san. Absolutely wicked. No? Listen, there's no way I... Okay. She's still good at this. Now explain yourself. Tell me everything. This is ridiculous. Our back has got to be really hurting. This is our third time getting flipped? How could you do it? For Christ's sake, open your eyes. I'm not a Russian revolutionary, obviously. Oh. Forgive me. As for you, what kind of deduction was that? Just saying the first thing that came into your head. Ah, but was I not right? Whilst venturing toward foreign climes, you do find yourself in the most troubling predicament, do you not? That was the only true statement you said. Yes, maybe. There you have it, you see? What do you make of that? Well, to be honest, this ship is en route to England. I'm in handcuffs at the scene of a murder. So, I'm not really sure you could call it deduction. It's more plain observation. Indeed, an observation, my dear boy. It's the basis of all deduction. My method is founded upon the observation of trifles, you see. I announce my findings with a brassy certainty. And more often than not, I'm right. And how much of a increase is that? Is it a 51% success rate? I don't think you introduced yourself. Ah, my apologies. How remiss of me. I am none other than the greatest detective of the century known to men and women the world over. The inimitable Sherlock Holmes. So, it's really you? The actual Sherlock Holmes? The very thing. The inimitable actual Sherlock Holmes. Do you know this man, Suzawa-sama? He's the most famous detective in the world. Hara-san? Of course I do. There's nobody who hasn't heard of him. What planet have I been living on then? Well, we must ask him what he's deduced. He will have worked out the entire case already, I'm sure. Really? Why do I feel uneasy about this? What were you investigating? Before I start talking, you were examining Kazuma's desk, weren't you? Kazuma. Ah, yes, the victim. Did you notice anything useful? Anything at all? Observe for a moment the desktop of the victim. Yeah? Candle and cup are knocked over. We see that the victim is engaged in penning some text. London Diary. Kazuma was keeping notes of the trip. But I don't think you should read his private writings. It could upset people. Tragic. Something you ought to perhaps elucidate before the activity. You mean you've read it already? Do you know how to read Japanese? My question is, does he know how to read Japanese? It is my business to know what other people do not. Yes, believe it or not, I know a smattering of Japanese. I see. Oh, you're about to know what a Susato Tekten is. No, because she idolizes him. She would never do anything to him. Nasa, aren't you going to throw the detective with one of your trademark takedowns? I'm sorry, Nahara-san. What on earth do you mean? This is so unfair. Anyway, to return to the matter at hand. Namely, this diary belonged to the victim. It would appear the final sentence is incomplete, as if the author were cut short. Tell me, what is the nature of the writing? Pray, be precise as to details. Oh, but I thought you knew Japanese. A smattering, dear boy, a smattering. Sayonara, bonsai, mikado. Nada. I trust you're suitably impressed. 4 words does not impress anyone, honestly. No. But this diary is littered with complicated characters of which I can read precisely none. So what was all that showing off about before then? If you'd be so kind as to show me, I'd be happy to read it to you, Mr. Sholmes. I'm much obliged, my dear madame. The final entry here in Kazuma-sama's diary consists of just 2 short sentences. First reads, 1:23 a.m. and I can hear a faint whistling sound. A whistling sound. These are very deep waters. Pray, go on. The second sentence reads, 35. What looks like some sort of speckled band is dangling from the ventilator. Speckled band? What on earth does that mean? I have no idea. I've never heard that expression before. The ventilator goes thing. The man was presumably referring to the lattice there on the wall, which connects to the adjoining cabin. Yes, the adjoining cabin. Kazuma's diary has been entered into the court record! Nice! Okay, about the death. Have you managed to deduce anything about this particular case yet? Have I managed to deduce anything? My dear fellow! Who do you suppose discovered the culprit in his most cunning hiding place? That's right. There's none other than the great detective before you now, Mr. Herlock Sholmes. See. In other words, I'm in these now because of him. I became anxious about Kazuma-sama this morning. I summoned all the crew members to force the cabin door open. And I concealed myself among their number, gaining entry to the scene of the crime. Yes, luckily for everyone, the great detective Herlock Sholmes was on board. The handcuffs seem to be an excellent fit, Mr. Naruto. The very moment I laid eyes on the scene, 2 facts were immediately apparent to me. Oh, really? 2 facts, you say? Mr. Sholmes, please tell us. What 2 facts were apparent to you when you came into this cabin this morning? Yes, but first, let us be precise. The 2 facts in question were immediately apparent to me. Yes, I understand. But what were they? Allow me to elucidate. The 2 facts I discovered from a mere momentary glance at the scene of the crime were as follows. Number 1, the cabin was locked from within, rendering escape of the culprit out of question. Number 2, the victim was Russian, and killed following a dispute with an acquaintance. Hold on, Mr. Sholmes, what made you think the victim was Russian? Observe the dying message left by the victim on the floor. That is the Russian word for wardrobe. Why would he write about the wardrobe? Is that really the word? Do you really think Kazuma-sama could have left a dying message in Russian? No. I don't even know if Kazuma knew Russian. He barely knew English, which means it's decently unlikely he knew Russian. I just can't see that being something he knew, which means it's more likely that this is planted. In their final moments, many find their native tongue fill in their head. For this young man, Russian. He's not Russian, though! Kazuma was Russian, was he? Initially, I considered it Gadurov may be the name of the killer, a certain Robert Guy, perhaps. But in the interest of thoroughness, I decided it would be wrong not to look inside the wardrobe there at least. We found Mr. Naruhara sleeping soundly. Quite so. I found you, the renowned Russian revolutionary killer. Why is it that I'm Russian too? I observed that you were wearing the same attire as the victim. In other words, you were acquainted. And if my memory serves, that outfit is a traditional dress of the Russian people. Ro is just spouting lies like it's nothing. School uniforms are the traditional dress of the Russian people. I had no idea. And I had no idea a detective could get something so wrong. I took a photograph of the victim in the message, but I might analyze it for possible hidden details. Ooh, photo, that's useful. This was taken immediately after the young man was discovered, before the body was removed. Yes, Kazuma had already been taken away when I woke up. This is the first time I've actually seen him like this. I'm really not sure. Yeah, we really don't have enough info at the moment. You're right, Mr. Nara. Yes, thank you. Nice, I got a photo. Let me actually see. If I take a look here. Paint whistling. Okay, so we only have those. How about our photo? Okay. Can't do anything with it right now. Can I ask you something, Mr. Sholmes? Oh, what, pray tell? You mentioned Russia before as well, didn't you? You know, when you said I was a fearsome revolutionary fleeing from Russia and all that? I guess the train of reasoning that led me to the truth. Do you mind explaining that train of reasoning to me, do you think? Certainly, if it interests you. How many times? I'm not Russian and I don't speak Russian. Apparently he knows Russian pretty well, so that's nice. Can we talk about your deduction before? The things you concluded about me, I mean? Ah, the now famously accurate, troubling predicament you find yourself in. And actually, it was the other details I was more hoping to discuss. You know, the merciless Russian revolutionary and assassin of 16 part. I guess, the more sordid details. It was a fairly commonplace deduction. Here we have this morning's paper. Main headline reads: Revolutionary villain flees Russia via Shanghai. Shanghai, that's interesting. Oh, okay. Well, in that case, that was not a terrible deduction. Other than the fact that I'm not Russian, nor do I look Russian. Nor does Kazuma. This vessel made a port at call at Shanghai yesterday, and last night the young Russian was murdered. When was Kazuma Russian? It sounds like Mr. Sholmes has concluded he was Russian because of what Kazuma-sama wrote on the floor. It was a simple act of reason to realize that the culprit of this crime was the same merciless revolutionary. One who would kill the very man who helped him to escape after his true identity was discovered. Yes, you, villain Bolshevik. No, how could it be me? I don't look anything like this man, just look at his face. Well, you are a fearsome revolutionary after all. Therefore, you have no doubt learnt to revolutionize your appearance as well. Please. And I might add, your name does not appear on the ship's passenger list. Did I say more? That's because I'm a stowaway. And what about the other details? The 16 victims of assassination blowing up the Crystal Tower? Yes, the journalist clearly interviewed the man and printed all those particulars in the article. The deeds the man has perpetrated thus far and those he's plotting. Yes, everything about this revolutionary Bolshevik was included. There can be no mistake. Oh, duh. Do revolutionaries usually read interviews with newspaper reporters, I wonder? What about the part where you said I was just returning from Afghanistan? Also, quite clearly stated here in the article. Bolshevik has recently returned after a period of subversive activities in a war-torn region of Afghanistan. Or even is it anyways? This Afghanistan place? You don't know where Afghanistan is? Here, take the paper for yourself, as a little memento of this great deduction. Thank you. I've absorbed all that is of interest to me within its pages, but I see no rubbish bin nearby. Cool. I mean, there's a chance that he could be the killer. We don't know. Oh, this one we can look at. I'm afraid I can't read a word of Russian. No, me neither. No idea what any of this says. The pair of you philandering with a sorry sight. Allow me to offer some assistance. The article on the front page of this newspaper is concerned with the fearsome Russian Revolution. Reads Revolutionary Venom Bolshevik flees Russia via Shanghai. Yes, you told us that before. It reveals also that those who see the man's beard with their own eyes never lived to tell the tale. My goodness, he is fearsome. Well, presumably the newspaper photographer was alright, wasn't he? The solution is obvious, of course. If he despises his beard to that degree, he need only shave it off. What? I'm not quite sure that's the problem, Mr. Sholmes. Okay. What about here in the back? This is interesting. Have you found something relevant now, Hana-san? No, I mean, it looks like it might be interesting. I can't read a single word, I'm afraid. No, nor can I. Look at this picture. Perhaps it's about a beautiful young Russian princess, do you think? She is very pretty, isn't she? I suppose you enjoy articles like this, do you? I don't know, I can't make any sense of it. Ah, I'm glad you noticed this article. Allow me to give you a short summary of the contents. Thank you. He pops up everywhere, this Mr. Sholmes. It's about the disappearance of a young lady last night. Renowned prima ballerina of the Novovachi Ballet disappears from Shanghai. During a performance in Shanghai, the famous dancer is reported missing. She is, of course, the talented young Nikolina Pavlova. Why are Russian names so hard to remember? It would appear the woman was in costume when she was found to be missing from her dressing room, wearing the diamond tiara you see pictured, which is worth some 20,000 rubles. How much is 20,000 rubles? I have no idea, but I'm quite sure it must be an unbelievable sum of money. Zazen's eyes are shining like diamonds themselves. The tiara is the property of the Novovachi Ballet, seeing the director is beside herself with worry. Yes, I'm not surprised. The company is most anxious to recover both Miss Pavlova and Valuable. And they've requested international assistance at all ports with sailings to Great Britain. Could this be another case of a Russian fleeing his or her country? It does seem to be the Russian thing to do. I'm going to dignify that with a response, Mr. Naruhodo. Okay. That has now been added. Okay, I don't think there's anything else related to the paper. You may find the article on the back page interesting as well. Back? Get your eyes over it sometime if the interest takes you. Though you may need someone to interpret. Wait, didn't you? Except for the fact that you said I was Russian. Come on, man. Your logic is riddled with flaws. All written in Russian, I couldn't help to read it. I suppose it wouldn't hurt just to glance at the article. Maybe there might be a picture or two. So you're a great detective, are you? Sorry, what was your name again? Indeed, I am none other than the one and only Herlock Sholmes. I see, you're German? Herlock, was it? No, I have no hair. I mean, I have hair. Please call me Sholmes. You can read all about my exploits in this exciting London publication. Oh yes, Ramps magazine, full of wonderful short stories and interest articles from Great Britain. I never miss an issue. I have it sent from England, especially. Yes, here it is. The Adventures of Herlock Sholmes. So you're the protagonist in a series of short stories, then? Indeed I am. You've read so many of your own stories, you start to think you really are a detective. I make no mistake, I'm not the poor, deluded fellow you take me for. Your inference is backward. Backward? My trusty biographer records my greatest detecting achievements and chronicles them in the magazine. You have a biographer, do you? Doesn't everyone? Mine goes by the name Dr. Wilson, presently keeping shop in London. Dr. Wilson? I must say, thanks to that publication, I've been fantastically busy of late. Why, this very moment I'm returning from Asia, having solved the mystery of a cursed royal crown. Really, can't work out whether I should take this man seriously or not. A deduction, you see, is to me a science. Logical reasoning in its purest form. Science? Really? The astute observer notices even the most subtle of reactions in his subjects. A furtive glance, a twitch of the muscle, slight inclination of the posture. Fingernails, arm sleeves, furs, and skin. All these things are data. Right. And the trained magician makes deductions from this data in the blink of an eye. The ultimate conclusion is, without fail, the truth. As I demonstrated only a few short moments ago. How might like mean that I claim that? So you see, I have a term both for observation and for deduction. And fame. That's what makes me the one and only Herlock Sholmes. So I believe I've given you enough to consider for the time being, at least. Do you have somewhere to go? As it happens, the victim's writings in his diary have piqued my interest. The matter warrants further investigation, I believe, and if I am still too long, the seasickness takes hold. Oh, I suppose you're thinking of investigating the cabin next door, which the ventilator connects to? Great detectives are a curious breed. Our minds rebel at stagnation, we crave mental exaltation. So yes, I intend to investigate. Hence the truth will become clear soon enough. Do you think perhaps that we could go with you? No, that would be somewhat complicated. What? But why? Some glance at your wrist should reveal the answer. These. After all, you're the prime suspect in this matter. No. There's no point trying to turn it into a question. You're the one who decided I was the culprit in the first place. Whatever do you mean? I have no recollection of naming you as the culprit at any point. I agree. ... You must be joking. You just said it only a moment ago. To me, you were clearly misguided. There was no cause to say such a thing. Well, actually, Mr. Sholmes, I did hear you say that too. You're quite sure? Well, that's very strange. I wouldn't have said you had the face of a criminal, you know? Not really. So what? Were you looking at my knees before? Some great detective you are. Well, clearly he must have been. Because my face does not look Russian, but he keeps insisting I'm Russian. Oh, well, anyways, that was then, and this is now. What do you mean? What I mean, sir, is this. If you are the culprit, then you must play the part more convincingly. Roll over and accept your fate. Now he's just being plain rude. And off he goes, having just laughed in my face. His sense of humor is as twisted as his name. Now, Harsan, what are you just standing there for? Huh? We must go investigate the cabin next door as well. Aren't you forgetting something? What about these? There's no way I can... Oh. And flipped again. After Kazuma Sama spent his dying moments struggling to leave us a clue, you're willing to give up? Just gonna roll over and accept your fate? As if you gave me any choice in the rolling over part. I think we still have some investigation to finish off here first, don't we? Fair on examining what we can in this cabin while we wait for a chance to slip next door. Good idea! The situation doesn't look good for me, but there are still things I can do to help myself. I owe it to Kazuma to do everything I can to find a way out of this. Bring the real culprit to justice. That... Is something wrong, Naruto-san? No, it's just that crewman standing by the door. Can't help but feeling like I've seen him somewhere before. Oh, yes, you're right. He does look familiar. Excuse me, sir. Yes. What can I do for you? You've even got the arm held at the same position. Come on, man. You got way too into that role, apparently. Now, what are you doing here? Why are you undercover as a sailor now? And are you claiming to be Russian? I recognize that face. But it can't be. And there's the cough. You have such a unique feature, buddy. Anyone who knows you is going to know you. It is. I didn't know you were here, Inspector Hosonaga. Now he's just using his sleep. Okay. Hello again. What are you doing here? I think that should be my line. I was so stunned when I saw you. My heart stopped. Nearly stopped, I hope. I received some special orders to go undercover as a member of the crew on board this ship. Again? You certainly seem to enjoy undercover work, Inspector. If there's anything I can do to help you, please ask. I never expected to see this man on board. But perhaps his presence can help me out of this hopeless situation. So, what are your special orders this time, Inspector? Yes, and why are you dressed as a member of the crew? Well, undercover, obviously, for that part. Are we allowed to know? I'm so sorry. Huh? This is all my fault. I take full responsibility. For what? And my orders were to act as Asoka-san's bodyguard. It was Minister of Justice Jigo Oku who pushed for this overseas study tour to go ahead. And he entrusted me with ensuring that Asoka-san reached Great Britain without being assassinated. Assassinated? How could that even have been a possibility? I'm not sure. But these are complicated times. There are tensions between the world's great powers. Mr. Jigoku said we should be prepared for all eventualities. This is incredible. I don't believe it. Someone was assassinated. Obviously, we couldn't give Saga-san a visible security escort. Which is why I'm undercover now, posing as one of the crew. I see. I didn't take my eyes off him the entire time I've been on board. From morning till night, every day. But I never imagined it would happen here. Inside his own cabin. Not here on the first class deck. I failed miserably at my assignment. Saga-san is dead as a result. I'm a disgrace. All I can do is humbly apologize. Spectre. So if there's anything at all I can do to help now, just say the word. Can we get permission to investigate from you? We're doing what we can to investigate Cosmo's death ourselves. It might be. You didn't do it, did you? You're not the killer? Of course not. I'd really like to investigate the cabin next door. Yes, so we need to be allowed out of this cabin. Sorry. What? You've been deemed a risk to the ship's safety. If you need to even touch the handle of the cabin door. That stormy-looking seaman there would surely snap your neck in two. Suppose I'm not just a stowaway now. You think I'm a murderer as well. Would it be possible to give me something to work with, do you think? I'm going to need something persuasive. What do you mean? A solid reason why the next door cabin should be investigated, for example. I'd do everything I could to persuade the captain to allow it. Oh really, I'd lay my life on the line if I had to. But I don't see how. The diary? There may be a way. What? Really? Think of how you tried to persuade me of your innocence, Naruto-san. By presenting me as a piece of evidence that you already had in your possession. Evidence? It's just the same as when you're in court. You must have done it many times during your trial. Simply select a present panel and choose some evidence. Inspector Osnaga can use. Evidence that would give us a viable reason to investigate the next door cabin. Right? Yes, I think I might know what we could use. Sent the detective with evidence he needs to persuade the captain? That is going to be... the diary. Yeah. Do I have to go through here? We really need permission to go in the cabin next door so we can investigate it. Unless I do it from somewhere else. 9... Reason why it's so important. Give me the investigation problem, though. Present evidence. How am I supposed to do that? To here. Okay. So yeah, that's slightly different. What's that? It's Cosmo's diary. Just before he died, Cosmo-sama wrote something rather strange in his diary. That's strange. What way? He wrote, what looks like some kind of speckled band is dangling from the ventilator grid. A speckled band? That is strange. Yes, we're trying to work out what he meant by that. What I'd like to know is... Don't tell me. The ventilator, is it? You're very astute, Inspector. That ventilator clearly joins the next door cabin. That's right. So if we can investigate in there, we might be able to work out what the speckled band was. Alright then. I can't leave this cabin. Stuck here until we arrive at the next port. Captain has given me strict orders to guard the scene of the crime, you see. I'll have to entrust the investigation to you. Really? You're willing to do that? Yes, as long as you don't leave the first-class cabin area. I'm afraid I can't remove those handcuffs. What about the captain? Aren't you going against his direct orders? Man of my word? I promise you that I'll lay my life on the line if that's what it takes to convince the captain. After all, I failed to keep Ahsoka sound and safe. It's the least I could do. Thank you. Let's seize the moment then, Hara-san. Select move, okay. Okay, I think this is actually a pretty good time for us to go ahead and save. And that's where we're gonna go ahead and end things for today. Hope you guys have enjoyed. We got ourselves out of trouble the first time, but it seems that trouble has found us yet again. Very unfortunately. So, we now need to figure out what happened here, because there's clearly something else going on. And I'm not entirely sure what the meaning of the word would be. It's very interesting. I'm not entirely sure he knew Russian, but at the same time, I'm not sure who else could have written it, because then we still run into the locked door issue. So, not exactly sure, but we'll have to find out next time. I'll see you guys later. Bye!